Jerusalem, 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 you once were a temple of praise, Jerusalem, but now you are desolate, a bony old land, and scavengers feed where once your flocks did graze. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, a sign of forgetfulness, scrawled in the haze. Jerusalem, 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 I looked in your eyes to find a tear, Jerusalem, but your eyes full of pride in your warriors' hands were dry, forgetful, never turning here. Jerusalem, for they looked no higher than the flight of a spear. Jerusalem, 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 the wind is the air to your pride. Jerusalem, again now in bondage your children must wait and learn to forget their fathers who have died. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, then once more through the desert I will call them to my side. Jerusalem, 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 Jerusalem.
In 1960, hymn singing in Roman Catholic churches in England had remained unchanged for centuries. This was usually congregational, with organ accompaniment led by a choir or the priest. However, all that was about to change. A forward-thinking parish priest called Father Edward Thomas recruited the 25-year-old charismatic Kevin Mayhew to lead a very modern female choir with guitar, bass guitar, full drum kit, piano, glockenspiel and organ accompaniment to play at the weekly Sunday 10:15 a.m. Mass at Sacred Heart Church in Southend-on-Sea, Essex, England. This was the start of a revolution in church music, the repercussions of which are still enjoyed today.
Oh, hello. My name is Sheila Evelyn Brown. My name when I joined the choir many years ago was Sheila Evelyn Sculler, and for the past 49 years I've lived in New Zealand, but I still have some wonderful memories of singing with that wonderful choir. I actually started, when I joined the choir, was through the school that I worked in, Our Lady of Lourdes Primary School in Leigh-on-Sea, and I was asked to play the guitar at their Christmas function with the children, and I played the guitar to Edelweiss. And Kevin Mayhew was sitting in the audience, and he came straight up to me after and he said, "We need you for our choir band." And that was the start of it. So first of all I played the guitar and the bongos with the choir concerts, and then he suggested that I might like to sing, which is how it all started, and I became a soprano singer in the choir. It was absolutely lovely, and it was exciting, and I learned a lot, so much from working with those lovely ladies in the choir, all the different ways we would sing, the beautiful hymns that were turned into lovely folk hymns, and we did some lovely shows around the southern part of England, and I'll always remember St Paul's Cathedral when we were playing, and I was playing the bongos and singing, and unfortunately I dropped the bongos on the floor and it all clattered through that beautiful arch. It was like it went all the way around the sound, and then I got the giggles. This was in St Paul's Cathedral, which I'll never forget. There were many, many happy times. It was hard work at times, and sometimes we were tired. You know, we'd been working during the day and we'd sort of turn up for the practices at night, and then we got a bit irritable sometimes. But at the end of the day, when the show was on, it was absolutely fantastic, and I will never forget it. And I still see friends that I made during those years before I went to New Zealand, and Richard Campbell-Carr, Richard Dawson, and lots of other people whose names actually, unfortunately, I forget, but I know their faces if I saw them. I'm not still involved in church music, but I'm still involved in band work occasionally, and I still take my guitar along to the odd barbecue and party and have a good sing-song with everyone, which I really enjoy still able to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila.
The baker woman in her humble lodge received the grain of wheat from God. For 9 whole months the grain she stored. Behold, the handmaid of the Lord. Make us the bread, Mary, Mary. Make us the bread we need to be fed. The baker woman took the road which led to Bethlehem, the house of bread. To knead the bread she labored through the night, and brought it forth about midnight. Make us the bread, Mary, Mary. Make us the bread we need to be fed. She baked the bread for 30 years by the fire of a love and the salt of the tears, by the warmth of a heart so tender and bright, and the bread was golden brown and white. Bring us the bread, Mary, Mary. Bring us the bread we need to be fed. After 30 years the bread was done. It was taken to town by her only son. The soft white bread to be given free to the hungry people of Galilee. Give us the bread, Mary, Mary. Give us the bread we need to be fed. For 30 coins the bread was sold, and 1,000 teeth so cold, so cold. Tore it to pieces on a Friday noon, when the sun turned black and red the moon. Make us the bread, Mary, Mary. Break us the bread we need to be fed. But when she saw the bread so white, the living bread she had made at night, devoured as wolves might devour a sheep, the baker woman began to weep. Weep for the bread, Mary, Mary. Weep for the bread we need to be fed. But the baker woman's only son appeared to his friends when 3 days had run on the road which to Emmaus led, and they knew him in the breaking of bread.
1. And that was my name when I was in Sacred Heart Choir. What did I do in the choir? I sang in the choir. I think that was about it. What do I remember about it? I remember the fun, the laughter, and the discipline, which was very, very important. It was a very enjoyable experience. I was pregnant at the time and then had a baby, and it all got a bit disjointed, but it was good. Yes, the choir director made a tremendous difference. He expected very high things, which was difficult sometimes, but we got used to that. Is the difference still felt? Well, there's only me left in Sacred Heart Choir now, so it's very hard to say. Our present director does an excellent job, and we jog along very happily. So yes, I think there is still some of the old choir left. And yes, I'm still involved in the church music, which is good and fun. I don't think I have anything else to say, except that I'm just very grateful for still being there. That's it. Yeah.
You were on the record.
We all look so young. Jean Daniels, your mum, Joan McCrimmon. Oh my word.
Let us break bread together on our knees. Let us break bread together on our knees. When I fall on my knees with my face to the rising sun, oh Lord, have mercy on me. Let us drink wine together on our knees. Let us drink wine together on our knees. When I fall on my knees with my face to the rising sun, oh Lord, have mercy on me. Let us praise God together on our knees. Let us praise God together on our knees. When I fall on my knees with my face to the rising sun, oh Lord, have mercy on me, have mercy on me.
My name's Patricia Pawlenty, and when I was in the Sacred Heart Choir, I was Patricia Meads. I sang soprano. I came to it actually after singing in a Church of England choir, which was all plain chant and very serious, and was really bowled over when I came into church, and there were guitars and glockenspiels and people singing much kind of lighter music, just as spiritual but much lighter. So I asked if I could join, And we used to have practices sometimes in the church hall after Mass, and there were quite a few of us, and Kevin Mayhew was quite strict. He made us sing, and he'd soon pull us up if we were out of tune, and it actually was a lovely sound, and the combination of it, or the high part of it really for me, was going up to London to make a record, because I thought that was absolutely amazing. And but I think the music was really important. We used to travel a lot to different churches. I think I remember going to the Brompton Oratory and various other places to demonstrate this music, and it started to catch on. And it's really nice that even today we sing some of these songs in church still. And for example, I'm at St Helen's Church. We have 3 very different masses, and the evening one is always much more folky and less traditional than the other one. So it's really nice that we have this choice of music in the church, and I think it's really important that it continues. We have guitars in church and all sorts of different types of music. I'm not able to sing anymore. I'm very much still involved with the choir because my husband sings now in the church choir, but I've lost my voice, unfortunately. And so yes, for me it was a really positive experience. Unfortunately I had to leave when I went off to university, but I loved it, and very thankful for the experience. Okay. What where all these people are now?
Well, this is what I'm trying to track down. I'm trying to track down as many of them as I can. But the reason I wanted to bring this to you is Sandra Rossi is mentioned on the side of the sleeve as being instrumental in that cover design.
The cover.
Yeah. So who is she?
She's my late husband's niece.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Fernando's niece, but also Ricardo's cousin as well. So,
is that right?
Yeah, because I married back into the family again.
Did you?
Long story.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be another book.
Yeah. Well, this is what Carla, my son, says. He says, you should write a sequel. He would write it. Things my mother never said.
That's going to be a bestseller. That'll be a bestseller.
Yeah.
Here's a lantern that
Please tell me your name.
Eileen Brzezinska.
And what was your name when you were a Sacred Heart Choir member?
I was Eileen Greaves.
What did you do in the choir, Eileen?
Well, I wasn't really a member of the choir as such because I lived in London at the time. But I met Kevin Mayhew when we both worked at the Catholic Herald. And he put me in contact and brought me down to Southend, where I had parents living anyway, so it was no problem for attending rehearsals. And I joined for concerts and when we went round and about, and I did solo work. So that was my attachment to the Sacred Heart Choir.
What do you remember about the choir?
Oh, a bunch of very happy people, all very happy with the new music that we were singing, and it was quite exciting. And I made quite a few friends that have stayed friends.
So it was an enjoyable experience for you?
Definitely, yes.
Do you think the work of the choir and its director made a difference to church music at the time?
Oh, well, absolutely, yes. It was a kind of a renaissance, a kind of an escape from daily Sing to Mary and Sweet Sacrament Divine, and with the new English Mass as opposed to the Latin Mass, then you needed to modernise too and have music and sing music that was appropriate, and it was a renaissance.
Is that difference still felt today, do you think?
I think so. I don't think you go back from a renaissance. I think you go forward and build on it. Yes, I think that at that time the music changed and it was never going to go back.
Are you still involved in church music today?
Yes, in the little town of Wantage, where I live now, near Oxford, I belong to the church choir in the Anglo-Catholic Church of St. Peter and St. Paul there, and I very much enjoy singing in the choir.
Great. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I suppose, yes. I think that what Kevin Mayhew did with the help of Joan McCrimmon too and all the others and the Sacred Heart Choir was really the beginning of something which not only has stayed but is continuing. Very, very significant in the life of the church.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for talking to me today, Eileen.
A pleasure.
God's Spirit is in my heart. He has called me and set me apart. This is what I have to do, what I have to do.
He sent me to give the good news to the poor, tell prisoners that they are prisoners no more, tell blind people that they can see, and set the downtrodden free, and go tell everyone the news that the kingdom of God has come, and go tell everyone the news that God's kingdom has come.
Just as the Father sent me, so I'm sending you out to be my witness throughout the world, the whole of the world.
He sent me to give the good news to the poor, tell prisoners that they are prisoners no more, tell blind people that they can see, and set the downtrodden free, and go tell everyone the news that
Don't carry a load on your back. Don't carry a load in your pack. You don't need 2 shirts to your back. A workman can earn his own keep, can earn his own keep.
He sent me to give the good news to the poor. Tell prisoners that they are prisoners no more. Tell blind people that they can see. And set the downtrodden free. And go tell everyone the news that the kingdom of God has come. And go tell everyone the news that God's kingdom has come.
Don't worry what you have to say. Don't worry, because on that day God's Spirit will speak in your heart, will speak in your heart.
He sent me to give the good news to the poor. Tell prisoners that they are prisoners no more. Tell blind people that they can see. And set the downtrodden free. And go tell everyone the news that the kingdom of God has come. And go tell everyone the news that God's kingdom has come.
My name is Richard Campbell Carr, and it was exactly the same name when I was with the Sacred Heart Choir back in the 60s. With the choir I played the guitar first of all, and then played drums. I remember it very well. There was nobody else doing what we did, which is why the BBC were interested, and I remember doing some Sunday morning programmes on the BBC. I actually sang a solo on one, and Kevin, he told me about half an hour before we were going to do it, so that was great news. Mostly it was an enjoyable experience, I have to say. Lots of the going out to the various performances that we did at a number of very good locations. It was good fun, and we were well received, and people were quite surprised to hear this modern type of music, or what was considered modern in those days. I think what we did made quite a difference to church music at that particular time. I think that Kevin was a very talented man. He had Joan working with him, and between the two of them, they had a very, very good knowledge of music, words, the Bible, and important things, and they seemed to get the best out of all of us. The difference that we made, I think, is still felt today, because I'm still singing the same music from the Go Tell Everyone LPs that were made in the late 60s. Although the tempos might have changed and various things have changed, the keys changed to make it more easy for an older man to sing, it's still being done. And as for my involvement, when the Sacred Heart Choir was running in this, I was running it after Go Tell Everyone, and then I got married and went off to Ipswich, and I had two choirs in Ipswich at I can't remember where they were. St Pancras was one, I remember that one, but I came back from Ipswich 5 years later, and my brother Malcolm was running the choir at St John Fisher, and I said I'd go and help him. Within months he suddenly announced that he was going to Kent, and I took over, so that was 1978, and I'm still there, and still very much enjoying it. I have have a lovely group of people, and I have to say that the music that we did back in the 60s is still as popular today as it was in those days. About the parish priest, Father Thomas, I remember him very well changing one of the pop songs of the day. I'm trying desperately to remember the name of it, and he made it into a wedding song, and he asked me to help him with the chords. He was a brave priest, I suppose, because nobody else had the same sort of thing round here. However, when Kevin Mayhew left and various other people left, I don't think many other choirs around here started, although Father Hannon at St John Fisher did pick it up very quickly with my brother, and they had a very younger version, so they had school children who were even in junior school who were doing it, so much younger than the people who were doing the Sacred Heart Choir. But yes, that music still lives on and it's very important.
Sing of the bride and sing of the groom, and the wine that was flowing free, when the Lord was a guest at a wedding feast in a town in Galilee. Fill the pots with water and lift the glasses high, for the Lord has come to Cana and changed water into wine. Sing of the bride and sing of the groom, and the feasting all night and day, with the wine running short at the wedding feast, to the stewards sad dismay. Fill the pots with water and lift the glasses high, for the Lord has come to Cana and changed water into wine. Please will you help me have no more wine, said a mother to her only son. He said, woman, don't you know you can't turn to me, for my time has not yet come. Fill the pots with water and lift the glasses high, for the Lord has come to Cana and changed water into wine. Each till the day and wait till the time for the cross and for Calvary. But until that day is a fine new wine with a taste that's fine and free. Fill the pots with water and lift the glasses high, for the Lord has come to Cana and changed water into wine. Drink to the bride and drink to the groom at the wedding in Galilee, and then drink to the life that is like new wine to men who wish to be free. Fill the pots with water and lift the glasses high, for the Lord has come to Cana and changed water into. Fill the pots with water and lift the glasses high, for the Lord has come to Cana.
Sacred Heart Choir Publications was a company formed by Father Edward Thomas with Kevin Mayhew and Joan McCrimmon to publish the new folk hymns so much in demand by churches up and down the land of Great Britain in the 1960s. This then became Mayhew McCrimmon Publishers, and later separate companies, McCrimmon Publishing and Kevin Mayhew Limited, that still exist today, 50 years later. Father Thomas's vision proved correct, and the Sacred Heart Choir and a small army of modern composers fulfilled a need for singing using the New English liturgy to be shared with other parishes. Go Tell Everyone became a trailblazing soundtrack that sparked a revolution in church music that is still relevant today.
Give glory to the risen Lord. The Lord is risen, now drink good wine. Let us drink the wine of our salvation. Live the life of true love in the Christ our Lord.
When the kingdom comes like a light upon a stand, it will shine to light the ways of man.
Give glory to the risen Lord. The Lord is risen, now drink good wine. Let us drink the wine of our salvation. Live the life of true love in the Christ our Lord.
When the kingdom comes like the yeast mixed in the bread, it will raise the lives of all true love.
Give glory to the risen Lord. The Lord is risen, now drink good wine. Let us drink the wine of our salvation. Live the life of true love in the Christ our Lord.
Now the kingdom comes, so in death we find the light. That is light and love, the Christ the Lord.
Give glory to the risen Lord. The Lord is risen, now drink good wine. Let us drink the wine of our salvation. Live the life of true love in the Christ our Lord.